Rachel wins the contest for designing Brett Stone's tuxedo. He is the most eligible bachelor in the city. As she finds out more about the man behind the famous facade, she finds herself falling in love with him. In New York City, a fashion designer, Rachel Rocca, dreams of her chance at a big break in the fashion industry. She owns a menswear boutique with her high school friend and business partner, Dhruvi. One morning, Dhruvi informs Rachel that the editor of Premier Fashion magazine, Sybil Neely, sent her an invitation to participate in the annual NYC Christmas Gala. Each menswear designer is tasked to create a tuxedo for a random bachelor assigned to them. This is a requirement for the gala's first ever Christmas runway contest and bachelor auction. The event's proceeds will be donated, and the winning designer's look will be featured on the Premier Fashion magazine's cover. Dhruvi believes it's the best opportunity for Rachel to prove that she can design for anybody. Rachel recalls that she invited her parents over to celebrate Christmas together. She will have no time to entertain them if she joins the competition. Dhruvi assures her that she will take care of her parents and make plans for them. Rachel needs to focus because the gala is in 3 weeks. Dhruvi reminds her that she will meet her bachelor tomorrow at the hotel. Rachel wishes that she gets a man who can appropriately showcase her design to the public. The next day, Rachel runs into a guy wearing all black clothing at the hotel. He thinks Rachel's bright-colored outfit is a bad choice and reminds her that first impressions are crucial. Rachel calls him out for the rude statement, but realizes he is only talking to someone over the phone. She laughs it off out of embarrassment, but the guy notices her reaction. He explains that he was talking to a kid he mentors, who plans to apply for college. The boy wants to spend his hard-earned money on an overpriced crazy clown suit designed by Rachel Rocca. The strange guy loves black and hates bold colors, which Rachel usually uses in her designs. Rachel feels insulted, but does not inform the man that she is the designer he's talking about. The conversation turns into an argument before the strange guy finally leaves. Rachel meets with Atticus, who is a good friend of hers and one of the invited designers. Rachel offers to give him the fabric she used in one of the outfits she created. The bachelors line up in front of the designers, and Rachel meets the rude guy again. The color of the candy canes they hold matches the ones given to their respective designer. The men reveal the candy, and the strange guy has Rachel's color. Rachel is disappointed, but shakes hands with him regardless. She introduces herself, and the guy doesn't take back his negative comments he made earlier. His name is Brett. Rachel calls Dhruvi to complain about the disastrous event that just took place. Dhruvi searches for Brett online, but he is apparently a very private person, because no recent photos of him come up. However, she discovers that Brett is wealthy because he is the creator of Connection Link. Rachel is put under pressure because Brett clarified earlier that he only wears black. The problem is, she is infamous for her colorful designs. That same night, Rachel's parents, Marcy and Tomas, arrive. Marcy immediately comments on the lack of Christmas decorations around the house. She has no Christmas tree yet, and the angels she sent are still in the boxes. Rachel explains that she is busy with a charity event and has no time to decorate. Marcy and Tomas are delighted to hear about this, but Rachel complains about her bachelor. He's rude and only wants a black tuxedo. Rachel's parents are shocked to find out that she is talking about Brett Stone. Marcy and Tomas have installed the Connection Link app, and they love it. Rachel wonders why they idolize him, given his terrible attitude. Rachel will visit Brett's company headquarters tomorrow, and she plans to take her parents there. The company's interior amuses Rachel. It is colorful and fun, the complete opposite of Brett. Rachel's eyes are glued to the table littered with gifts, because she has the impression that Brett is a heartless man. Brett's assistant and sister, Sloane, shares that her boss collects gifts for Christmas and gives them to the kids in the city. He also accepts fostered teenagers to work for the company, and some of them are full-time employees. Sloane offers to take them to a gingerbread decorating class, since Brett is currently taking an important call. Rachel refuses, but Marcy is persistent, because a famous French pastry chef is overseeing the activity. Shortly after, Brett arrives and calls Rachel an outlandish designer. He's been calling her that ever since their first meeting. As a jab directed at him, Rachel shows the gingerbread house she made with all black decorations. She wants to make him realize how boring black is when used in excess. The two politely argue about what color to use for the tuxedo, but anger is clear on both of their faces. Rachel's mom supports Brett's choice because black is strong and classic. Sloane, on the other hand, is on Rachel's side because she wants Brett to expand his color palette. Tomas refuses to take sides, so no one ends up winning. Rachel stands her ground and tells Brett she will not change her mind, no matter what happens. Brett replies that she better change her bachelor, then. At home, Rachel and her mother stalk Brett on the internet. This time, she finally finds photos of him in the Connection Link app. He is dressed in all black, as usual, and it pisses her off. However, Marcy loves Brett and finds him very nice in person. He looks like the mysterious, handsome guy from the telenovelas she watches. Brett's history, before he established Connection Link, remains unknown because he refuses to give interviews. Rachel is annoyed with her mom for fantasizing about Brett. Later, she plans to meet up with Atticus to ask if they can switch bachelors. Marcy and Tomas stop her because they love Brett. Plus, he invited them to his company's Christmas tree lighting ceremony. Meanwhile, Brett's hate towards Rachel turns into curiosity. He stalks her shop on Google and finds her creations attractive. Brett drops his smile and closes the laptop when Sloane approaches him from behind. Sloane tells him to stop with the serious face. She's known him before he became famous and intimidating in the public eye. She also saw his reaction earlier and tells him he can't hide from her. Sloane understands that he finds it difficult to be invested in other people, especially after their difficult childhood. She suggests getting to know Rachel better, like how she put down her walls when she met her husband, Luke. He was the one who suggested giving Luke a chance, and now it's her turn to return the favor. In the middle of the conversation, Demario, the kid Brett mentors, casually enters the room without knocking. Demario wants to discuss something about his college application with them. He dreams of being a psychologist someday, and Brett has been sponsoring his tuition fees ever since they met. When Demario opens up about the suit he would love to wear in the pictorial, Sloane teases Brett to get Rachel to design it. At the boutique, Druvy disagrees with Rachel's idea of switching Brett with another bachelor. She believes he is the best choice for her because he is popular, mysterious, and attractive. Even if his face was wrapped in a paper bag, people would still bid for him. Rachel agrees that Brett is like a gift from above. He has everything she needs to win the competition, but it will be hard for her to change his monochromatic wardrobe. The door was wide open, so Brett heard everything the girls just discussed. Rachel apologizes for arguing with him the day before. Brett looks at her bold color designs and makes fun of them. He sarcastically asks if she makes suits for real men or for Christmas elves. Suddenly, a beautiful painting with bright colors catches Brett's attention. Rachel calls it the Rainbow Valley, a place on the border of Bolivia and Chile. The famous line, "If you want to see the rainbow, face the storm," reminds Rachel of her grandmother, whom she was named after. Abuela is a brave and great woman. She is Rachel's inspiration, and Rachel wants to honor her memory and their heritage by using bold colors in her crafts. Suddenly, Rachel realizes something. She has some dazzling shades of fabrics that perfectly represent the two countries. Rachel asks Brett where he's from and about his heritage. She can do some research about it and buy fabrics that represent him. Brett brushes her idea off. Not everyone is as lucky as Rachel to have an amazing grandmother for inspiration. Rachel apologizes because she knows nothing of his family background. Brett tells her the reason why he dropped by. Demario is a fan of her creations, and he wants her to make a suit for his college application photos. Rachel offers to give it for free if Brett compromises on the gala tuxedo. Brett refuses the offer and instructs her to look for a black fabric. He would rather pay for Demario's suit than agree with her. Rachel tells him that he is the most stubborn guy she has ever met. She shares her disappointment with Druvy, and that's when she realizes that she forgot to take his measurements. Rachel and her family attend the Connection Links tree lighting ceremony. Brett acknowledges and thanks everyone for their presence and generosity. He shares a story about a friend who told him about the culture of Norway, where people take their trees outside to offer shelter to birds after Christmas. Foster kids have no trees nor gifts for Christmas, so Brett created NYC Foster to give these children the need physical and emotional care. Brett encourages everyone to be as generous as possible. Rachel is moved by his little speech, especially when he uses Norway's Christmas culture, which she mentioned previously at the shop. Brett thanks Rachel and her parents for coming over. Tomas assures him that he will post the video he took and tag him. Everyone laughs, especially Rachel. She reminds her dad that Brett has millions of followers, and he doesn't need to do that. Tomas then invites Brett to help him choose a tree for his daughter. Rachel insists she can do it herself, but her dad belittles her capabilities. Brett shares that male deer lose their antlers in November, while the females have them on throughout the winter. Santa's deers have antlers, so they must all be females. Brett shares this to point out that women are strong too. Rachel is thankful that Brett explained that to her dad. He always treats her as though she is a baby, even after she built her shop and started living independently. The next day, Atticus visits Rachel's boutique to give the fabric they have agreed to exchange. Atticus is not just an ordinary friend to Rachel and Druvy because he helped them when they had nothing. At Rachel's first show, Atticus sat in the front row. Since he is a famous fashion designer, he made everyone notice Rachel's creations. This is why she was able to build a shop in the city. Atticus is simply grateful for their friendship because it is hard to find genuine friends in this industry. Atticus is a fan of Brett, so he asks Rachel for information about him. Rachel doesn't know much about him, but after meeting him several times, she finds him nicer than she initially thought. He is not as intimidating and serious as the public thinks he is. The next day, Brett joins Rachel and her parents to search for a tree. Brett loves spending time with them, especially since Tomas and Marcy treat him like their son. Rachel knows how busy he is, so she apologizes for the trouble her parents caused. She invited them over for Christmas before she joined the gala, and now, she can't be around because of how busy she is. Rachel shares with Brett that her dad loves to talk to the cab drivers in New York because he drives a taxi in Bolivia. Her mom makes beautiful angels for Christmas decorations, and her craft is famous in their town. Brett points out that Rachel inherited her talent from her mom. Rachel is flattered because she never thought of it like that before. Tomas invites Brett to decorate the tree with them, and Marcy promises to make eggnog for him at home. Rachel scolds her parents for demanding Brett's time because he's a busy man. Brett agrees to help decorate the tree, but asks permission to bring a +1. Rachel is surprised because she has no idea he has a girlfriend. Marcy and Tomas notice that something is bothering Rachel. She has been mentioning Brett's +1 nonstop. Rachel reminds her parents to stop trying to set her up with Brett and be nice to the woman he's bringing. Brett arrives as promised, but he's not with the girl. Rachel is relieved to find out that he was bringing Demario as his +1. Demario finally meets Rachel and calls her the fashion designer with hype creations. Rachel clears her throat to get Brett's attention and boasts that someone appreciates her work. While they decorate the tree, the little angel's Marcy made amuse Brett. He confirms that Rachel got her creative side from her mom. Rachel is flattered. She pins a ribbon to his pocket, adding a pop of color to his black suit. Their eyes meet, but Tomas interrupts the romantic moment. While having eggnog, Marcy and Tomas ask Demario to share something about his family. Demario reveals he is a foster kid. Brett took him out of foster care, while his sister, Sloane, welcomed him to live with her and her husband. Rachel and her family are touched by this story. Rachel secretly admires Brett's kindness. Brett appreciates their kind comments, but hates when people compliment him for helping others. He changes the topic and tells them that Martha Stewart will be at Connection Link tomorrow to teach garland making. He wants Marcy and Tomas to attend the class. Brett winks at Rachel, remembering how she once mentioned that her parents love to do different activities in the city. He wants to help Rachel because she's too busy with work to take them somewhere. The next day, Rachel's goal is to finish Demario's suit so she can focus on Brett's tuxedo. She wasted a week trying to convince Brett to wear the colors she wanted. However, she was surprised when Brett let her pin a red ribbon on his black suit yesterday. He is more carefree when he's with Demario, and she realizes that Brett only shows his soft side to certain people. Rachel wishes the public could also see the kindness behind his tough facade. Later that day, Demario's suit is done, and she can't wait to show it to him. At the office, Sloane notices that Brett is happier than usual because he started beatboxing while reading something. Sloane opens the topic by saying that she received a call from Sybil Neely offering to help at the gala. She also mentioned that NYC Foster should give something back to the guests to remind them about the kids in foster care. Without hesitation, Brett suggests an angel souvenir. The next day, Brett visits Rachel's shop to give her the measurements for his tuxedo. Rachel is delighted to show him Demario's suit and how excited she is about the whole process. Rachel dreams of creating a finely tailored, colorful design that makes men walk a little taller. Knowing how perfect it is for Demario, Brett compliments her work. Brett tells her she is smart, gifted, determined, and irresistible. Rachel's heart flutters when she hears him say those words. Rachel looks nervous as she measures his chest. They stand too close, and she becomes self-conscious. It seems like she has feelings for him already. Rachel wakes up to her parents' very excited faces. They wanted to tell her the good news last night, but she got home too late. Brett hired Tomas as his driver, and Marcy got an order of 200 angels from him. Brett gave her a space at the company and some staff to help her, and she will train all of them today to make the angels. Demario feels an array of mixed emotions as he wears the sky blue suit Rachel made. He can't think of words to describe his feelings, because it's his first time wearing designer clothes. Feeling confident, Demario struts in front of Rachel. Rachel is relieved that he likes it, despite the use of bright colors. Demario shares that nobody knows Brett's story, except for those close to him. He wishes the public would realize this, so they would erase the tough and intimidating image they label him with. Rachel arrives late from work, and she notices noise coming from the kitchen. There, she finds her parents baking cookies with Brett. They look so happy to have him home, and they even found a black apron for him. Brett teases Rachel using her dad's jokes. Marcy and Tomas desperately wish for them to get together, so they pretend to be sleepy and excuse themselves to go upstairs. Rachel pins a flower to Brett's apron. Brett and Rachel get lost in the moment and share their first kiss. Brett tries out the tuxedo with floral designs. However, Rachel thinks it doesn't suit him. Brett is relieved because he doesn't want to wear such a tuxedo either. Rachel feels pressured. The competition is fast approaching, but she has no tuxedo yet. Brett understands that Rachel wants to showcase her bold color tuxedos to catch the public's attention. However, she also needs to understand that he wants to wear black. Brett reveals he is a foster kid, just like Demario. When he was a kid, his first foster parents took him to his mom's funeral and borrowed a black suit. A police officer brightened up his day when she said that he looks great in black. From that day on, Brett never forgets the officer's words of encouragement, and wearing black makes him confident. Brett's goal in joining the gala is for people to notice his charity, NYC Foster. He wants everyone to look at the kids, who will be wearing a colorful tuxedo, instead of him. Rachel replies that she needs to care about what he wears. Her future career is at stake, and she wants to do her best. The following day, Demario shows his suit to Brett and Sloane. Brett loves it, but he looks sad about something. He shares that Rachel is frustrated because of him. Demario is sure that he is falling in love with her, and advises him to confess. Brett admits that he is right, but he's unsure if Rachel feels the same way. Later that day, Brett visits Rachel and tells her he will wear anything she wants. Their last argument was an eye-opener for him, and now, he is willing to set aside his past for Rachel's sake. Brett wants to pour everything he has into making the foster children's lives better. Rachel works day and night to finish her new tuxedo design on time. Druvy informs her that Atticus' bachelor just got engaged, and he has withdrawn his spot at the auction. Because of this, Atticus can't join. Rachel feels bad for him, so she thinks of ways to help him out. Days pass, and Rachel instructs Druvy to give Brett's measurement to Atticus. She believes he can design a better suited tuxedo for Brett, because most of his creations are black. On the day of the photo shoot, Rachel reveals her model, Demario, who is extremely grateful for the opportunity. Her goal is to show everyone that her menswear brand makes an everyday man walk taller, and Rachel thinks Demario is the perfect person to properly relay the message to the audience. Tomas calls out a reporter and photographer who are gossiping about Brett. He tells them they only know the surface about Brett's life. The reporter is intrigued by this and digs into Brett's past. Meanwhile, Brett walks Rachel home and casually tells her he wants a kiss. Rachel grants his requests and kisses him passionately. One morning, Demario receives an email from New York University. He got accepted. He is grateful for Rachel's help. The suit contributed greatly to his confidence. While everyone celebrates Demario's achievement, Sloane receives an email about Brett. The editor of Premiere magazine wants to ask for his comment on a draft before they publish it. The write-up is about his past as a foster kid and some information about his mom, which makes him furious. Brett protected his late mom's privacy his whole life, and he can't believe someone would reveal it to the public. At that moment, Brett can only think of Rachel as the one who leaked his past to the press. He thought he could trust her, but she betrayed him. He walks out and leaves Rachel puzzled. She has no idea why he is mad at her. Marcia comforts Rachel about what happened. She tried calling Brett last night, but he did not respond. Tomas intervenes in their conversation and admits he is the one to be blamed. Meanwhile, Demario visits Brett at his office. He informs Brett that Rachel made a deal with Sybil Neely, and all the bids he earns as her bachelor at the auction will be donated towards his studies. Demario is extremely grateful for Rachel and the opportunities she has offered him. He believes that Rachel has nothing to do with the news story because she's too kind to spill Brett's secrets to the writer without his permission. Brett rushes to Rachel's apartment to talk to her before the gala. However, Tomas and Marcia inform him that their daughter left early for the event. Brett apologizes to Rachel's parents and confesses his feelings for her. Tomas replies that he should be the one to ask for forgiveness and reassures Brett that his daughter loves him back. Tomas advises him that if he wants to see the rainbow, he must face the storm first. Demario crushes it on the runway as he struts confidently while wearing Rachel's creation. People bid a huge amount of money for him, including Atticus. It all adds up to the exact amount of his NYU tuition fee. Blaine's Park Avenue loves the menswear line that Rachel created, and they are interested in signing a contract with her before the year ends. When it is finally Brett's turn, he requests that the auctioneer reads the message he wrote in a card. He wants to announce his past as a foster kid before the magazine releases the scoop. Rachel and Brett slow dance, after which Brett tells her that she is the only woman he wants to be with. Rachel shares his sentiment, but only if she can choose the suits he will wear from this day forth. Brett instantly accepts her condition and kisses her happily. Rachel wins the competition, and Brett adds a flower to his pocket to complete his suit's look.